Welcome to this class. Actually, we have already taken two basic classes to give you detailed understanding of how things are happening during the well site and how we set up our the surface system as well as our instruments. Okay, so if you just go to the first slide, you could easily understand we have very simple setup. So right on the surface, when the drill rig is still there, sometimes bottom hole party, particularly the reservoir people, are going to do their operations. And what are the operations? I have already talked to you. It's a bottom hole study mainly. Bottom hole study means you have the surface part, but you have also the subsurface instrument you need to lower down. Okay, so that is how we need to record our specific data for analyzing well as well as reservoir surrounding. Okay, so if I just show you this diagram, hopefully we have discussed early. So we required an winch van where all the instruments we need to carry for our study. And if you just go see the right side figure, you could really understand we lowered down our instrument before the perforation. Okay, this is an electronic memory gauge which record our pressure and temperature simultaneously. So this is what is happening particularly when we are recording our instruments data for the bottom hole study. So I discussed it is nothing but a flow test. Okay, so what we do, we allow a well to flow, means a closed well to flow, or a flowing well we closed it, so that whatever response is coming from the wellbore, from the around the wellbore and away from the wellbore, that means the true reservoir, that is reflected in form of pressure. Okay, so that's why it is a flow test. And what we do, we will try to understand larger area around the wellbore. So whatever we have learned so far, we try to understand our reservoir in form of either core plug study, or maybe from log study, or maybe from the thin section small chip study. Okay, that gives us some idea about the static behavior and the reservoir type. But once we do a well test, that will give us the much larger volume reservoir than core and logs, provide estimates of permeability under in situ conditions. So the flow will give us some idea about the physical nature of the reservoir as well as the surrounding. That okay, and that will estimate the near wellbore condition. That means we have skin or not, we have what sort of skin, and what we need to do to take care of our problems. Okay, and different boundaries also. So this is what in the, so this is a simple diagram. If you just go through it, you will easily understand. We discussed about the different types of well test. It may be a single well test, it may be a multi-well test. Multi-well test, if you see, that means we have one active well and we have an observation well. Where active well, we are doing the activity, whereas the observation well, we lower down our instrument in the observation well and try to record what is the pressure response in terms of time. Okay, so if you see the right side, all the figures that gives you the demonstration. We may test a single well which will give us information regarding the well as well as the surrounding of the well reservoir area, whereas if we perform a multi-well test, that gives us idea about the connectivity between the wells as well as the communications. Okay, so just why we need it. So just whatever we discuss so far, we get the information about our reservoir mostly in static in nature. Okay, static in nature means whatever from core plug study, except the core flooding study for permeability estimation, we try to get all in the static nature. So that's why this test, well testing, transient well testing, give us the near wellbore in situ information as well as away from the reservoir information, which may be the normal reservoir, or maybe the boundary condition, or maybe the support system, or maybe the physical nature of the reservoir. Okay, so if so what do we get from the well test data? So reservoir pressure, transmissibility, permeability, wellbore damage, radius of drainage, reservoir heterogeneity, reservoir continuity, success of workover job. I discussed in the last class also. Sometimes you do it after a long after some workover jobs. Then effect of pressure maintenance. So if we are injecting gas, or if we are injecting water into aquifer, sometimes we try to see how this the injection actually injection is performing for to maintain the proper pressure. Okay, and also the fluid type. So this is a simple concept. I'm just now I'm going into slowly the main mathematical part. Today I will not discuss the mathematics, but I'll try to give you the concept. Okay. So what do we do? So what pressure transient test is actually the flow behavior. That means we allow a well to flow, or we close a flowing well and try to see how the pressure response is shifting from the top of the well to the complete well, then the sand face where the perforation has been done, then it is going away from the sand face, that means the skin part, then it is going away from the skin, that means normal reservoir. Then once we conduct the test for a longer period, maybe it will move further away and we try to understand the boundary condition. Is there any support system boundary is there, or is a fracture type of reservoir, or you have a parallel faults, or maybe an intersecting fault. All sorts of things we could get it from the well test. So what, being a geologist, you should know at least some part of it, so that whenever we are matching with our seismic sections, then we have some sort of information, sand continuity, so that can also match with our well test data. So what we get, you see, we get information in different time domain. That time domain, actually we change it to the R, or radius domain, that means distance domain. So if you just go through the slides, you see initially we got the oil bore storage, that means early time response. Then we got the idea about the skin. Then average reservoir K, that means it is moving away from the skin. So if you just see the below diagram, you could easily understand skin is nothing but the zone due to which we are not getting the proper flowability of the to the well. So it may be for different reasons. Okay, so it is not only the damage area around the well bore, it may be for different reasons. Maybe your choked perforation, maybe your not sufficient perforation, you may have a partial penetration, you may have some inclined well, you may have some deposition around the well bore. So due to so many, or so this is what is happening during your flow. That's why that is called the skin. So skin is not only the damage area, it may be of different, for different types. Okay, then we are going away from the skin, we are going the normal reservoir. So that means that information or the pressure behavior will give us some idea about what is the normal reservoir sections. Is it a fractured reservoir, is it a fault reservoir, or is it having different types of faults or different types of flow pattern. Okay, so that people are trying to understand on the basis of the flow behavior of flow experiment only. Okay, now what are the different types of tests? So what is happening, initially we try to understand in different ways. So what is build up test? So build up, follow up, I'll come one by one to give you some idea what is build up test. Build up test means a well which is already flowing, generally at a constant rate when it is flowing. If you see the diagram, we have a diagram where you have the flow period Q here and then certain period. So the flow period means this is actually the well is flowing at a Q rate, and we got a graph which is decreasing. And when it is more or less a constant flow rate, Q is constant and the pressure is more or less stabilized, that time we close the well. So the build up test, a flowing well is closed, and before that we lower down the instrument. I will come to that one by one. What is the testing procedure? So pressure recorder is lowered to the bottom of the flowing well. Okay, the well is closed for build up duration. It varies. Okay, the time duration for build up may varies, because depending on that you will get your information. With the instruments inside the well, what are the instruments? We discussed about the instrument. It is electronic memory gauge which will record both pressure and temperature. And how it will record? It will record on the basis of your programming means at what interval you wanted to record the pressure and temperature. So the record, then what, once we complete our study, let's say for 72 hours or maybe 96 hours, maybe 5 days, depending on the time we test, and then we pulled out from the well after build up, and then we data analyze. So okay, so the analysis part, if you just see your right side graph, when we close our well for build up, you see the graph have a different shape. Each and every domain is giving us the information right from the well bore to the away from the reservoir up to the boundary. So that means each and every segment we analyze for getting our physical nature around the well bore in terms of the flow. In terms of flow means it's the storativity as well as transmissibility of the specific reservoir reservoir. Okay. So now what is drawdown test? Just the reverse of that. Drawdown is in a drawdown test, a well that is static, stable. That means it is static. You are not throwing anything. So if you just see in the left side of this diagram, you can easily understand the Q is not there. So well rate is 0 here up to the respective period. So that time it is stabilized. Okay. Then what we do, we allow the well to flow. So before that, we lower down our instrument. So what is the testing procedure? Pressure recorder is lowered to the bottom of the closed well. So it was closed. So you have a static bottom hole pressure. So before that, you lower down your instrument up to the desired depth. Then what you do, the well is closed for longer period of recording SBHP. So this is what, that means you are recording this pressure. It is stabilized. Now well is produced at a constant rate of flow. Now what you do, if you see the right side, the Q is the specific rate you are flowing, and the well is now, or the pressure recorded above the perforation is now gradually decreasing. Okay, so it's gradually decreasing and we get it. So initially high rate, then you are getting the slow rate of decrease. So that means what we use it to get the skin factor, reservoir permeability, wellbore storage coefficient, and if we test it for a longer time, then it is called the reservoir limit test. Reservoir limit test means we can get the extension of our reservoir outer boundary. That means if we get the boundary, then by this test also sometimes we can demarcate our extension of the reservoir. Okay, so this is why so exploratory well we generally perform the reservoir limit test to understand the extension of a reservoir, so that we match with our other parameter, let's say seismic profile or maybe the sand extension, that can give us the idea of what is the extension of our reservoir in the early stage. Okay, so next is follow-up test. So what is follow-up test? Follow-up test is nothing but to see the injectivity. Okay, so a follow-up test is conducted in a fluid injection well. That means you are injecting in a well so that for a specific purpose. The injection may be for your pushing the hydrocarbon towards the production well. It may be injection well. So that's why try to see the usually part of pressure maintenance or enhanced oil recovery program in a petroleum reservoir. So injection well is to maybe for pressure maintenance or maybe for UR injection, fluid injection. Because what we have performed before injection, we know the injectivity of a specific well, so that at this specific rate per day we could inject, so that it will move away from the injection well and it will push the hydrocarbon or desired plan, so that it can be or our plan should be achieved. Okay, but sometimes the injectivity is going down. So to test that, we do the follow-up test. What is the procedure? Pressure recorder is lowered to the bottom of the flowing well. Then the well is first injected at a constant rate for a sufficient period to achieve stabilization in injection pressure, followed by setting of the injector. Okay, as a result, so what if your pressure is decreasing very fast? That means whatever you have injected, that is going away from your well and you are getting your pressure decreasing. So that is called, so that means your injectivity of an injection well is proper or not. To understand that, we generally do this test. Okay, so then once you complete your test, then you pull out your recorder or the electronic memory gauge and then analyze. So analysis is used for finding the leading edge of the injected fluid bank. That means once you inject a well, if it is moving in a specific injectivity rate or with a specific rate, you can easily understand how the fluids are moving away from your well for your desired purpose. Is it for pressure maintenance or is it from UR? Okay, so the fluid phase boundary between the injected water phase and the in situ oil phase, that we can easily understand. Now the multi-rate test. Multi-rate tests are sometimes done initially and sometimes afterwards also. Okay, so pressure drawdown test requires constant flow rate, which is often impractical or impossible to maintain for longer period. So if you wanted to produce at a Q or Q specific rate, sometimes fluctuation occurs. So we generally we could not maintain the pressure rate or flow rate. So in such cases, multi-rate testing are done. That means we are changing the size of the bin or maybe the production or rate of production, so that using the bin size or changing the bin size, the oil is flowed at a multiple rates for definite time interval. Okay, so you see it is not a continuous for with a one rate. We are changing the rate at a specific time, so that by doing this we try to understand what is the deliverability of the specific production zone. So this is very important to analyze. So how different production rate is the formation is responding. So the oil is flowed successively at different but stabilized. So if you just see here, you can easily understand when the pressure is more or less stabilized, that time we are changing the flow rate. It is not that when it is the slope is there in the pressure value, we are changing the rate. Okay, so changing the beam size. So in most of the cases, when the pressure is stabilized, you see it is more or less horizontal where we are changing the rate. Okay, so each and every cases. So during the step change in flow rate is made after flowing bottom hole pressure is found have stabilized. So this is most important. If you change your flow rate very early, that is when the pressure is still decreasing, you may not get the proper information for your study. Okay, so this is what we do for the multi-rate test. Now isochronal test. Isochronal test is nothing but what it is a time. You see, we are changing the different rate, but we are allowing a flow oil to flow at a space. This is Q1. Then we are closing it for the same time. You see, this is the time is same. That means how long we produce with a specific Q1. Again, we are closing the oil for some time to build up. Again, we are changing the rate at the specific time, and again we are closing it for the same time. Again, we are changing the rate. So that is so at alternating sequence of drawdown and certain periods are implemented with monitoring of the pressure response. Drawdown tests are constant within a sequence but vary from one sequence to another. In each sequence, certain of test will continue until the bottom hole flowing pressure stabilize. So you see each and every cases we are trying to stabilize the rate, or maybe here is the time. So however, in tight reservoir, the time needed to attain stabilization could be long. Hence, modified isochronal test is designed to minimize the loss of in production where the drawdown and certain periods are of equal duration. Okay. So, although that means initially isochronal tests are so that your bottom hole pressure stabilize, then you close. But in case of tight sequence, it is not possible to stabilize. So that's why we follow the same thing. So this is modified isochronal test. We allow a oil to flow for a specific time, then close it for the same time. Again, we are changing the rate and doing it. So, okay. So interference test or pulse test. So this is what I told you. The oil test may be of multi-well or it may be a single well. When we are generally interference tests and pulse tests are for the multi-well test. Okay, so these tests involve one active well and one or more observation well located at distance in neighboring locations in the reservoir. So what predicting or understanding some sort of communications are there or not, what we follow, we generally do the test. Okay, so a source of interference is created at the active well, so we allow a well to flow or maybe close a well to flow so that the pressure pulse will move away from the well and it will be it will go to the nearby well, which is observation well. So if you just see the graph here, you can see the solid line is giving us the pressure behavior of the active well, where we are doing the, or initially it was producing and we are having two responded observation well. Okay, so number one and number two. You see here when we close it, it will take some time. There is a time lag for the response. Okay, so it is not immediately responding. So it will take some time. So that's why when it is responding, the graph will shift it. Okay. So interval reservoir characteristic influence the nature and degree of the pressure response at the observation well. The time lag between the initiation of the interference in the active well and the ensuing response to the observation well also depend on the reservoir and the fluid property. So what is there? So once we start activity in the active well, it will take some time to reach to your production well, the response. That's why it will vary. How it will vary depending on the reservoir property as well as fluid property. So it will take some time. That's why I call this a lag time is there to respond into the observation well or to get the response. Okay. So multi-well tests are usually implemented only when complex issue arises in the reservoir, such as the possible existence of reservoir unidentified heterogeneities or premature premature well production or water production. So these are the very good understanding. If you have the good understanding, when your team is planning for the development, you can guide your team so that okay, some sort of test should be done to understand what is the subsurface nature. So this is how we need to, okay, so this is what is there in the normal. If you see initially we are using multi-beam. If you just go through the both the graphs, The below graph is the production rate and the upper graph is the pressure response. So this is called the cleanup. Cleanup means, I told you, once we perforate a well and then activate, sometimes we don't allow the well to flow a continuous rate. So what we do, we just change the bin size so that the pressure response will be varying and the nearby wellbore area should be clean. That's why we change different bin size or production rate initially to get actual production response here, okay, so that it will be clean. Then this is the first build up, then we close it. That time we can do our pressure should be stabilized. So this is getting your PI. Once you get your PI, then you can do your collection of your bottom hole samples. If you get your temperature survey, static bottom hole pressure survey to get the PI, then you can conduct your test. So this is one drawdown, first drawdown, the second drawdown. That means you are changing your bin size for your production. Then again you are going for the main build up. Okay, so that means once you are cleaning up your well, then you are getting certain sort of multi-bin test, then you are going for the build-up. Even sometimes people go for a longer time of build-up or maybe another multi-rate test. Okay, so this is how we are trying to understand how the pressure is responding to a different rate of flow. That can give us some idea about the producibility of or maybe the deliverability of a reservoir very near. Okay. So just try to understand this very carefully. So what you see, this is a well. The first diagram is a well. Okay, we are allowing it to flow. Now what is happening? Once we start taking the production, I am trying to explain you the compressible zone, which is very important. Okay, to understand the physical nature around the wellbore in different time as well as different property also. So when we are start taking the production in the very early time, you see the T1. Okay. T1 means we have just started taking the production. Okay, so what immediately you see, your wellbore will not be responding to your sand phase here, which is a perforation. So it will clear the wellbore fluid initially. Okay, so T1, T2, T3, T4 time. Okay, so now what is happening after some time? So once it is there, now we are getting, I told you initially early time response is from the wellbore. So that means whatever pressure response we are getting in the below our electronic memory gauge, that is due to the wellbore cleaning. Once it is there, so it will be entering into your skin area. That means now the supply is from the skin area. What is supply means compressible zone, I will come afterwards. So now with further production continual of time, what the response will move further away like this in the whole of the reservoir, then we are going to the boundary if we have a boundary there. So now if I come to the second, so that means initially you have a small drainage radius of investigation, but once you increase your time of investigation, you will get the response from the outer area. Okay, so are you getting it? So that means what is there, I'll just try to explain the same thing in terms of the compressible zone. So what is compressible zone here? So now if you see here, the graph is R versus Q. Q means this Q by QB is the, what is there? What is BO? Reservoir value, reservoir by surface, isn't it? So this is actually your reservoir production. This value Q by QB is your reservoir. This is surface production, and this is, if you submitted, you are getting 1 means the reservoir value. Okay, so if you see this line, this is a line at a specific time T1, T is fixed. That means what is happening, this initial part of the reservoir R has already responded to your flow at a specific time, and this area beyond this R2, the reservoir has not yet taken part in the flow. Okay, so what is happening, once you start taking production, so specific time Q is only supplied by a specific area, that is from this to this area. Because if you see, this part has already supplied the material for the production from this for the early time, and this part, this area has not yet taken part during the flow. So just like our ripple. Okay, so that means this is the your extension of the ripple in terms of when we are dropping a stone in the pond water. So what we are a ripple is moving. So just in front of the ripple and behind the ripple, we don't get any response. Similarly, what we are getting here also, this compressible zone is only supplying the material for the flow of that specific time Q. Okay. So in the second part also, if you see what is happening with time, it is T is T dot. That means after some time, this area has taken here, this graph has been shifted. That means the next area is now supplying for the production. Okay, so that means what is happening? So that means ultimately, if you compare with your ripple of water along with the compressible zone, that means a compressible zone is supplying the Q value which we are producing at a specific time. Okay, so that what is Q? Q means the area. If the area, that means this area is not properly stored material or it cannot supply, you will not get your proper pressure, because because supply is not there, your pressure will fall down, because Q is, according to Darcy law, Q is proportional to del P. If your supply of material of that compressible zone is not sufficient to support your Q of production of Q, that means your pressure will decrease. So with that concept, we are trying to analyze the whole reservoir in terms of the physical nature.
Sir, QB.
What is QB?
Yes, sir.
QB, you see, what is BO? BO is the reservoir volume by what? What is BO? Your stock tank reservoir volume by stock tank volume?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the Q is the production at the surface. Okay, and what is QB? If you multiply it with your temperature, you Q, that means this is your QB is what? BO is equal to Q at a specific reservoir pressure temperature. So that is 1 means you are getting the surface production Q, but your QB is the reservoir value. Once it is 1, then that means your production wholly, whatever you are producing on the surface, the same you that are responded to your reservoir. That means the reservoir has supplied the whole Q for that specific production. Okay, so if the line, this line, that means what are you getting? Are you getting this part? Because this is very important. That means what we are getting, if we are producing our well at a specific rate, the rate dependent supply should be there in the compressible zone. That means, let's say the time T, the supply is from this to this area only. If the supply from this area means, if you see here is the radius. If you go to the left side, that means in a specific time the material is supplied in this particular semicircular area throughout that part. If the area is not permeable or it could not store the material, then what? It could not supply for your Q. And that Q actually, if it is not properly supplying, then your pressure will be falling down in your recording. So that means in a specific time, so ultimately the pressure is, so this area, the pressure is already has been recorded, and this area is not even responding to your any Q or any pressure. So that's why whatever pressure response you are getting in a specific time T, that is from only from this area supply of the material. Or you can see the storativity and transmissivity of that area is responsible for a specific time pressure which you are recording through your instruments. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll come to this topic afterwards also. Okay, now you see this graph. So this is actually pressure and pressure derivative. So the first graph is the pressure graph and the second graph is the pressure derivative graph. Okay, so now if you see the graph, that means what is happening? If you see there is graph is passing through the slope, okay, and it is one slope 1, okay, and then it is deviating from slope 1, then it is coming this graph, this means the pressure is actually increasing, then we are getting this PSS is pseudo steady state and this is steady state. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Both the cases. Okay, so both the cases. So this is actually the your build up and this is drawdown. Okay, This is transient drawdown time, okay, pressure versus time. So if you see this graph, could you understand what is happening? So that means initially you see 1, the slope 1. That means you see we discussed about the early supply is from only from the wellbore. Okay, that means wellbore is considered to be a tank, and the tank is supplying for your flow initially. That's why we are having a slope 1 passing to the origin. Okay, now second part, when it is deviating, what is happening? When it is deviating, I just go back to the earlier diagram and this one, the first diagram. If you see, that means now the compressible zone is within the wellbore here. Compressible zone means right from here to here. This area is supplied here from here. Okay, material is supplying from here. Now compressible zone is now the sand face perforation. So that means as you have a skin, so now we may have some restriction of the flow because the permeability of this area may not be exact. So that's why restriction should be there. Okay, so that's why you see we are getting a deviation in our graph. This graph, that means it is not truly slope 1, it is deviating from here. Then we are getting increase. So this is up to this, we are getting our effect of skin. Then what you see, the pressure is more or less stable, and if you see the derivative graph, you can easily understand the slope of this graph is 0. So what is the meaning of it? So that means we have reached into our reservoir domain. So we have a positive slope as well as negative slope in the skin. Okay, so two types of part is there. So positive, because when we are calculating derivative, you know how to calculate derivative. The initial pressure minus the earlier pressure, and initial time minus the early time, or maybe
Earlier time.
yeah, so that difference is giving you initially positive, and then when you have supply from the reservoir, that time you got a negative slope. Okay, so we may discuss sometimes because all mathematics are involved here. Okay, if time permits, we'll definitely discuss in the future classes. Okay, so this is what that means. We have a skin. If there is no variation in this, if the graph is moving like this, just like this, then we have a 0 skin. If it is moving like this, we have a negative skin. Okay, so that means depending on the pressure response along the pressure derivative, we could easily understand the wellbore effect as
Sir,
well. Yes.
sir, here is some problem. Your voice are not clear.
Okay. 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 Just is it clear now? Maybe
No,
connected. Okay.
so, sir, I mean, after one, you are pausing for 30 seconds, yeah, 1 minute. After
Okay.
then, it will be connecting again.
Okay. Okay. So now,
Yes, sir.
okay. So now what happened? You see the early time response. Early time is related to only our two parts, which is our wellbore as well as skin. So up to this, we are the dotted line, which is separating your early time response and the transient time, or you can the middle time response. Okay, steady state or middle time response. That means it appears to you your pressure response is going through your reservoir. That's why it is stable. Why stable? Because your whatever Q we are producing, that is properly supported by the area. That's why the pressure is not changing. That's why your derivative curve having 0 slope. Once we move out from this, we are getting the boundary effect. Boundary effect, you see steady state, pseudo steady state. What is the meaning of it? That means steady state means you are getting more support from here. Okay, support means you may have some drive support. That means whatever depletion you are doing through your production, that has been substantiated by your steady state means the boundary, the pressure is not decreasing. Okay, even it is increasing, that means support system is there. That's why it's a steady state. So that means the early graph is giving us information regarding the skin and wellbore, whereas the middle time is giving us the reservoir normal reservoir KH. KH means the thickness, average thickness and permeability of the reservoir, and the rest of the part, this part is giving us. So now what happened, these are the very simple initial study people doing, trying to understand or find out the state line domain, so that we could properly understand the behavior in terms of physical nature. Okay, so now once you get it, so now these are what is there. So how we different plots for analysis. So we do different types of plotting. So you see in the first graph, I will come afterwards in detail, but today what actually the overall part I am trying to give you some understanding. Okay, so you see here this is a semi-log plot. Pressure is in normal values and this is the logarithmic value. Okay, drawdown time. So you see the deviation initially, early time. Then you are reaching here and we are getting a straight line which is called the infinite region. Then we are getting the boundary effect. So that means each and every response in terms of time is giving us the idea about the physical nature. Once you do the derivative graph here, you see this is also semi-log graph having some idea. Sorry, this is also log-log plot. Okay, this is log-log plot. So initially what we try to understand, we try to change our x and y axis values. Normal plot, you dealt it, elapsed time plot, normal time plot, then you have the Horner time plot. Okay, so different way we try to get the straight line value and try to analyze. But things have improved a lot. Now we have a diagnostic plot. So sometimes what happened, you may not get a straight line, you get all in the curvilinear nature. That's why the curvilinear nature is very important. People have tried and find out new way of treating each and every portion in the polynomial form, and trying to understand the slope of this graph will help us to understand in detail analysis. Okay, so now what we do after that? So once, because you are getting two information only, the time versus pressure. So how do you reflect to that, or how do you analyze? Okay, so if you just see every integrated oil test, for integrated oil test information you need to do everything. So what you are doing an oil test, so what you recording the data, the engineering data, so what petrophysics, geophysics, geology, then you flow regime identification. Flow regime means different types. What I just name for flow regime, the bilinear flow. Okay, then you have fracture flow, you have your then you have a spherical flow, elliptical flow, all sorts of flow you may have. And you being a geologist or maybe the engineers related working in the field, you should understand, okay, if I developed a or do a hydrofracturing, what sort of flow may occur there? If it is a carbonate reservoir with having buggy porosity, so what sort of flows would be there? If it is a very systematic pattern of fracture, then what sort of flow is there? We'll discuss afterwards. So once you identify your flow, then you do the model selection. Then again you do estimate your parameters. Once your parameters are not matching, you change your model validation. You are changing your model and the oil test interpretation. That means right from the beginning to the end, we are acquiring data, and it is now a lot more things are there. And the last part is your interpretation through your computer software. So everything is there. You try to fit it your data in a specific model, and you see this is, you have a loop. So you can understand here early time, middle time, and late time response. Oil to skin, homogeneous reservoir. You may have a two porosity, two permeability. That means different types of reservoir. Then you have your different late trade, means what the type of boundary you have. Then once you are doing, so you are putting it in the with data. Okay, data. Then again you are matching it. Then again you are putting in model validation. You are coming back to end and you are getting the data or analysis right. So what actually, by putting every information, you are trying to understand the data and interpreting the data for your physical nature, understanding physical nature around the wellbore. Okay, so is it